over a decade, Epic Minigames has been one of Roblox's most beloved games, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Inspired by games like Mario Party and Wii Party, it followed a simple formula. Even when you're losing, you're still having fun.
6 for the 4th time in a row.
My point is, Epic Minigames is just one of those games that everyone has played and enjoyed. I say that, but then there's gonna be that one commentator talking about how they hate it. Don't make me angry. But what makes the game so distinct, and why, years later, does it feel like the definition of old Roblox? Well, join me as I break down the history of Epic Minigames and why it perfectly captures what made mid-2010s Roblox so special. Typical Type's Epic Minigames began on September 12, 2015, which was a day after the anniversary of Chile's constitutional reforms. Anyways, during its beginnings, the game only had 32 minigames, including classics such as Shark Attack, Platform Peril, and Hedgeway Out. Immediately, Epic Minigames was a massive hit, and not even a month later, it was on the front page, competing with powerhouse games at the time like ROCITIZENS, Mad Murderer, and Apocalypse Rising. In fact, it was so popular that by the end of the year, the official Roblox account made a review about the game. The video, which currently stands at over 180,000 views, served as a positive promotion, ultimately drawing even more players. So it should come to no surprise that by early 2016, Typical Type's creation was receiving daily player counts in the thousands. From the very beginning, Epic Minigames included a variety of minigames, such as luck-based, skill-based, versus-based, all of which were based off Wii Party's lighthearted games.
You know what that means? Wow, 10! Oh, what is it gonna 10? Who saw it coming? Who saw that coming?
By the summer of 2016, Epic Minigames grew substantially, climbing up to over 50 minigames, partaking in different Roblox events, and ultimately cementing its place in Roblox history. Sure, it might have not been the most popular title, but the gameplay, the YouTube videos, and of course the music all made it one of Roblox's most memorable games. I'm sure we all have our favorite minigames. If you like Maniac Mining, you're a gambler. If you enjoy Backstreet Brawl, you're an OG. If you like Accurate Archery... However, my favorite were the controller minigames, because I can kill people. And for the next few years, Epic Minigames continued to shine, with the game constantly adding new content and having healthy player counts in the thousands. In fact, less than 5 years after being created, on April 24, 2020, Epic Minigames officially eclipsed 1 billion visits, becoming the 16th game on the entire platform to do so. Even while the game might have stepped away from the Roblox spotlight, Epic Minigames has done remarkably well, and even was a part of an event this past year. Today, there's over 130 minigames, and you can still easily find the game pulling in almost 4,000 people, which might not be the craziest numbers, but it's still extremely impressive for a game that's as old as the Pacer Test Vine trend.
We'll now begin the push-up section. Ready? Begin. Down, up, 1.
Even 10 years later, I still come back to the game. In fact, Epic Minigames is actually one of the few Roblox games I've spent Robux on because that's how much fun I've had on it. And speaking of Robux, I have a challenge for you. You see, I'm a little less than 5,000 subscribers away from the 10,000 milestone.
Shot.
And if we hit it before next year, I will give a random subscriber a Robux gift card. Because seriously guys, you've made a dream of mine come true, and it's really an honor to have people enjoy my content. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to buy anything you want on Roblox. Also, shout out to DogTeam6178 and Billy Jefferson who commented on my last video. So if you want your own shout out or even some Robux, all you need to do is make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. But enough talking, let's get back to the video. So at the end of the day, what makes Epic Minigames so special? Well, I think it's one of the few popular games left that truly encompass what the mid-2010s on the platform was like. While it never was the most popular game, almost everyone has played it before, which is reflected in its insanely high visits. Because at its heart, Epic Minigames gameplay perfectly portrays 2016 Roblox. Back then, games were centered on a less grinding mindset and a more player-driven experience. You joined Roblox to have fun and enjoy the experience, not because the games were trying to encourage you to grind them or constantly play them. Roblox Prison Life, a game that I've talked extensively about on this channel, is really only about escaping and defending a prison. Hell, before murder mystery essentially became a knives and guns stock market, where random people on the internet dictate which items are bullish or bearish, it was simply about finding out the murderer and unboxing new items. Natural disasters, flood escape, and many others weren't these fancy productions that we see today, and while there's nothing inherently wrong with any of these games, in fact I really enjoy playing a lot of them, they're a far cry from what 2016 was like. Just like the games during that era, Epic Minigames doesn't really have any clear objective besides winning the minigame. And these minigames are easy to understand and lighthearted. Except shock absorbers, where you literally hear people dying all around you. And with a simple gameplay loop, it naturally created a more social experience, another hallmark of the mid-2010s. 3 games that dominated the front page during that time were Roblox High School, Normal Elevator, and ROCITIZENS, which were focused on players chatting and doing various activities with one another. And if you were cool like me, you used the sacred infinite money glitch in ROCITIZENS. Games like that were designed for you to play, maybe meet a friend or two, laugh, and then hop on to the next game. In Epic Minigames, trying to survive or win naturally led to a fun and vibrant chat. In some minigames, you're put on a team, encouraging members to interact in order to win. Of course, that's assuming you're on a team that doesn't want to make you chuck an innocent child across the room. Even waiting in the lobby between the minigames created opportunities to talk with one another. There's a reason why Roblox had a friendship badge, and I think looking back on these spontaneous interactions, they mean so much to me because they remind me of a period of my life that I can only look back on. And I couldn't make the video without mentioning its art style. Now I'm no graphic designer, but compare Epic Minigames to a modern game today and there's a noticeable difference. Its aesthetic is very similar to popular 2016 games, and maybe I'm just nostalgic, but the art style just feels like there was real care and thought behind the lobby and minigames. The music of course sounds like it's from a 2016 intro, and some of the items you can win have been on the platform for over a decade. In fact, ever wondered why it's called Epic Minigames? Well, it's because of the 2010's epic face that has been used on the thumbnail. At least I think. Maybe it's just because the minigames are actually epic and I'm just insane and need help. But at the end of the day, who cares if it represents 2016? Well, the reality is, nothing lasts forever, and of the thousands of games from the mid-2010s, there's only a few that have managed to survive. But even then, a large portion of the games are completely unrecognizable from their original version. In contrast, Epic Minigames is one of the last remnants of what made 2016 so special. Its relatively unchanged art style, gameplay, and social aspect remind players of a much simpler time, when life felt more relaxed and less serious or stressful. I mean, if you fail a test in elementary school, who cares? But if you get an F in college, you might be screwed. Unless you're an engineering student, in which case that's probably the average. And while you can never truly return to the past, it feels like Epic Minigames really does provide a window into a younger version of yourself. So the reason it's relevant is not because it optimized every metric or because it had game-breaking mechanics. Rather, it has perfectly preserved a snapshot of Roblox and ourselves that unfortunately don't exist anymore. You may no longer be that kid that hopped onto Roblox right after school, but for a few moments, Epic Minigames lets you remember what it felt like to be them.